The first thing we're gonna do is put this thing together. Nice and flat, so on the ground. He's out. This guy is just gonna slide right in here. So if you come down on the top of this, you'll see how it slides right in. Bring the camera right on top of it. See how it slides right in. Oop, actually it goes the other way. So here. So there's only one little tricky part about this, and that is that you gotta get these little channels, these little metal channels inside of this wood here. So you kinda gotta futz with it a little bit. There you go, that one's in there. Bottom one, you're not gonna be able to see. Okay, I'm just gonna pull my, so the bottom one's not quite in. I'm kind of futzing it with my hand. There we go. Okay, and if you look straight down, or actually if you come over this way, you can see right here. That way, not over there, that way. And then you'll see this slides. Boom, done. Okay. This little lip is gonna be for where your sheetrock lands. Okay, so the first thing we're gonna do is just take our nail gun. I'm just using 2-inch 16s. I'm gonna nail it down. So I'm keeping this plane flush right here. And then just a couple of nails. You don't wanna go in the middle, because that's, if you come over and look on this side, that's where the channel is. And you'll send a nail right through into the channel and the door won't close and you'll be confused. So then back onto the bottom on this side. Nice and smooth right there. Okay, onto this side. And then we're just gonna push it in. If you come over and look at it in this direction, so you'll see that that's real smooth right there. I use my finger to make sure it's real smooth. And then, again, 16s, 2 inches long. All right. And then on this side, this is the other side, the frame, the door. Just fit it in there. And then the critical thing, the thing to pay attention to, is this plane right here. That plane right there. That's what you're paying attention to. Okay. A little twisted, so I'm gonna have to kind of hammer it in once I set a nail. Okay, come here and bring the camera right here. See that little gap right there? So I'm gonna hammer that in. Oh, it's not working. There we go. A little bit. Okay. Nope. Pulling in the bottom, come back over here. So now I'm focusing on these lines right here. Pull that in. And then if you come straight down like this, just make sure, no, straight back up, straight down like that. Make sure you don't turn your nail gun like that so it pops out either way. Just go straight down, straight across like that. Okay. And then this needs to come a little bit tighter. Hammer it in. Okay, that's good, that's done. And then now we're gonna put it into place. So I'm just gonna lift it straight up into place carefully. Careful with that. Done line here. And the first thing I do is set the pocket side. Do this, and then since it's a 2x4 wall, just make sure these are flush right here. Okay. And then on the top, make sure that it's flush. And then on the bottom, kicking it in, and I'm just gonna hold it by hand, and I'm gonna grab my 6-foot level, and then I am going to right here see if it's plumb. Right on the back side of this. And this one happens to be perfectly plumb because we spent a little extra time on the framing. But if it's not, then you'd have to play with the shims a little bit. So I'm just gonna go ahead and this with finished nails right here on the top. So then let's do an example. Let's say it wasn't plumb. Come on down here with the camera. Over there's fine. Let's say it wasn't plumb and you had to, in order to get it plumb, you had to move it. So this is what I like to do, either right next to each other or right on top. Let's do it this way, it's a little bit better. Like that, put them like that. And then what I'll do is I'll set a screw, this, just so I'll set the screw because that can stay there. Like this. Actually, I'm gonna take these out and put them on top of the screw because it'll be easier to nail on top of the screw. So they're sitting right here on top of the screw. And then if that, let's say that was our plumb line with the level, which it's not gonna be on this one because it's perfectly plumb. Then I would use the nail gun and set these two. But since I don't have to do that, I'm just gonna drive this all the way in and then we'll double check the plumb. double check the plumb now. So that's perfect right there. And then one thing, if you can bring the camera over here and look right in this little gap, I'm gonna fix that. It's a very small fix, but it's 1/8 of an inch. So I'm gonna do that over here and pull it back. So if you look over here, this could go back a little bit. So I'm gonna go ahead and screw that back, and then that should fix that. Okay, so if you come around over here now, these things are not perfect, but if you look, that gap is next to 0 now, where my hand was. It's next to 0, okay? So that's set, that's good. Now we're gonna go over to this side. Okay, on this side, we come and look at the gap right there. I'm gonna start at the bottom. I always start at the bottom, okay? And this side, I'll set the screw and then nail it off with a nail gun. So we'll see how I do that. So I'm just gonna guess that this is about as much of a shim as it's gonna need, about that much. Now I'm going to set the level on it, and all I'm worried about right now is the top and the bottom. I'm not pushing too hard. This side we framed it really well, so it's actually almost perfect. It's almost perfect, so that looks really good. So, but I'm still gonna set the shims yet. But what I am going to do is double check that the width is right. So these are designed for a 2x4 wall. So if you come over here with the camera, so that we have that set right at a 1/2 inch on this side, and then you don't have to come over here, but it's a 1/2 inch on this side too. So I got a 1/2 inch on each side. I just double checked it with the tape measure, and now I'm just going to set a screw right on top, not through the wood, just right on top. And these are 2-inch trim head screws. Okay, so I can adjust that later if I want. Now I'm going to do one up top. Same exact thing. So right up on top here. These in, and I'm going right to where these are, so I'm just going to make it nice and tight. If you're going in the middle, you don't want it too tight because it can bow it out, but on the top with these vertical, you can make it nice and tight. Now let's double check the plumb line. Come on over this way so you can see the plumb line. And again, I'm only looking at the top and the bottom. I'm not dealing with this gap yet, right? That's pretty damn good. It's just a hair off, but I think we like it. The bottom could come out just a hair. All right, here we go. Again, 1/2 inch, checking both sides. Set it at 1/2 inch here. Double check over here. Moving a little bit tighter. Move. Bent. Set my guide screw. Oh, that's a bent screw. Hopefully it didn't move it. Bent screw. Still good. Okay. Now, like I said before, it was a hair off, so I'm actually going to show you how I adjust these. So it needs to come, it actually needs to go in just a hair. Yeah, so it needs to go in just a hair. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna back out this screw. Okay, now I can adjust it. And I'm gonna move these out so that it's gonna be a little bit thinner. Went back into the same hole so that my side to side is right there. And took it out, I don't know, it looks like an 1/8, maybe not quite an 1/8. This, oh, and I went too far. Did I go too far? No, I didn't quite go far enough. All right, take some more out. Actually, I can just release it a little bit, just release the pressure a little bit. There we go. Slide this out a little more, and put it in a little more. And I'm just going for perfection so you can see what it takes to get to perfection. Just a hair more. A little bit. So the cool thing about this is you can adjust it a ton. Exactly the way you want it. You can be as precise as you want. And then that one, got it so close, but I'm gonna go even more. A little bit more, and set. And this we're gonna call good. It's so close. And then, yeah, we're gonna call that good. Okay, they could actually go a teeny bit more, but it's all right. Now here's another critical part though. The middle is not going to be set yet. The middle is going to be all floppy. So set the middle right now. So if you look, most of the people won't have a 7-foot level. So see, pretty close, but it was a little bit off before. See right here, bring the camera right there. You see that gap right there? So you can't see it with the light though. I can. So I don't know if you can see that, but I can see from the back it's about an 1/8, and I'm going to try to push that in. So what I'm going to do is, I'm just going to put my knee on, back up please, put my knee on the level, 2 pieces in, and then I'm gonna just snug it up a little bit, and then I'm gonna watch the line until it disappears. I don't want to go too much, because then I'll make a bow. So it looks pretty darn good. Pretty much gone now. There's not really, just a tiny, tiny gap. But right there, it's set. Now I'm gonna hold it, so you gotta have your gun handy. And then I'm gonna use this anymore. I'm just gonna use the pressure of my finger and I'm gonna push this in place. I'm just gonna set this right below the shims again. Perfect. Okay, now we're gonna double check all these. I'm gonna check this whole line. Since I don't have a 7-foot level, I'm gonna check from the bottom. A little gap. There's a little gap there, so we're just gonna do perfect so that you know what perfect looks like. I'm gonna pull that out a little bit with another set of shims. And from here down, we are a little too tight. I'd like it. So I'm gonna set these ones down here, and then we'll adjust the top ones. One more step here. Again, put this on here. Not too much pressure. I want to bow it. Going for snug, and I'm just looking for this line, looking for any light behind it. I don't see any light. Now I'm gonna hold it. I'm gonna push in my trim screw right below the shims. And then let's go back up to this top one, which I think I'm going to make it a little bit farther out. A little bit fatter. Yeah, it's like a little over a 1/16, so let's just make it perfect so you see what it takes. Take it out a little bit. Don't have to take it out too much. There. Hammer. Really good. So I can't see any light now. There's no light coming out through this. None at all. Okay, so that, oh, actually there is a little bit of light. I'm going to back this out just a little bit more. Just a little bit more. Yeah, I think, so now I'm just barely starting to split hairs. This is pretty damn good. You know, you can get to a point where you're overdoing it. So, set that in. And again, you can go even more exacting if you want, or less. So, you look at the line, if you come kind of at this angle and look at the line, see that it's really good, okay? We're gonna take the pin nailer, and we're gonna set all of these shims in place. Personally, I like to put the nail head at the same angle as the grain. Doesn't matter. Now here, so the next step is to cut off your shims. I like to use a plunge cutter. You can also use a X-Acto knife like that. Do one for you, so you can do one like this. Kind of just takes a little bit longer. Not quite as clean. I'm going to snap it off. It's actually pretty quick. You do it like that. I just like to use the plunge cutter. And notice how I'm cutting on the framing side so that the sheetrock can go all the way into there. Okay, the next step is to make sure that this part of the door is lined up properly. So the way to do that, if you come around over here, I'll show you how I'm going to do that. So if you look at it right here, you'll see I've got this pushed up against here and here. And if you look at that end, there's about a 5/8 gap here, and there's about a well, I don't know, 3-inch gap over there. So I'm just going to keep closing this until it matches that 5/8 gap. Get my tape out, and I'll just check it with my tape. So there's actually 9/16, not well, 5/8. And then here, that's still at 1 inch. More here. Now 3/4. More, whoop, too much. And yeah, that was a little too much. Go back and you can see that. So there you go. 5/8. Just a hair under over there. So make it exact. A little bit more. You want to use the farthest end you can. There you go. 5/8. And 5/8. And then there's 2 little tabs down in here. So now we're going to take it and we're going to nail down those 2 little tabs. So if you back up and take a look at the door here, that is fully locked in place and ready to go for installing your pocket door. The only other thing might be cool to show you is this is a 3.0, so our floor height was 7 foot, and then the opening was 6 foot 2 inches. So we had 6 foot 2 inches, and then 7 foot here, and that gives you this big gap up here. You don't actually need 7 foot, you can do a little bit less. Hope that's helpful. Let me know if you have any comments or questions below in the comment section, and if you want us to do a video of how to install the hardware and the pocket door. Have a great day.